Hello and welcome to my channel In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne and this is day 7, I think, pretty sure, of the 12 days of Christmas. Yes, day 7, checking my notes. So today we are talking about my 50 by 50. If you missed that video, I posted it, it's probably been a little over a year ago now. And it was my personal project of 50 books that were basically my bucket list books. If you go on my Goodreads profile and the different shelves, I have a bucket list shelf. And most of these books were on that shelf. These were books that I wanted to make sure that I read. And so I gave myself a deadline of age 50 to read them. And at that time, I had about 5.5 years to go. And I thought that was plenty of time to finish 50 books and not feel like it was a chore or a burden. And the truth is, these books, because I already knew that they were ones that were on my radar that I wanted to read, putting them into my 50 by 50 list didn't create hardship or pressure for me because, one, I gave myself plenty of time, and two, I already wanted to read them. And so I find myself automatically choosing from this list of books when crafting my TBR each month, not even consciously realizing that they're on my 50 by 50. And then I make my TBR, or then I'm like glancing through my 50 by 50 spread in my journal. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reading that one right now. So that's another one I can cross off the list. So I have been very pleased with how well I am working through this 50 by 50 challenge. It's going much better actually than even I expected. I have this tendency when I make a definite plan that I'm going to read this book by this certain time, the tendency is that I just automatically begin to not want to read that book anymore. It suddenly becomes the last book that I want to read. But this time, that didn't happen, and I'm very grateful, and I am steadily working through this list. So let me show you my 50 by 50 spread here in my reading journal. And the ones that have been colored in are the ones that I have read. And so I'm actually pretty pleased with the progress that I have made. I think I've read more than 10 at this point. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I've read 10. That's 40 left to go and 4.5 years to get there. So definitely doable. Some of them are chunkers, so I need to keep that in mind. But I have already read 1 or 2 chunkers on here, primarily The Count of Monte Cristo being one of them. So definitely making significant progress. Oh, Cecilia being another one. So I've read some of the chunkers. That's good. Let me tell you the ones that I have read and how much I enjoyed them or not, and if I'm glad that I read them, and am glad that they were on my bucket list, so to speak. The Count of Monte Cristo, absolutely. Definitely a favorite of this year and one that I would recommend to anyone. I really enjoyed The Count of Monte Cristo. Othello by Shakespeare also was very good. Probably not my favorite of his plays, especially when I was reading it. But actually, of his plays that I've read, it's one that has stuck with me more. So in retrospect, I am much more appreciative of it than I was when I was in the middle of reading it, if that makes sense. So that definitely had a lasting value to it, which means I'm very glad that I read it. And then Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I also read this year. Now that is a short book, but it packs quite a punch. A very powerful book. And I definitely would highly recommend that one as well. Excellent little book. Dracula, I loved so much. I wasn't sure that I would. It was a little bit out there for me. I mean, vampires, not my usual thing, but I actually really enjoyed it, and it was so much more than I expected. Cecilia, I read this year as part of the Jane Austen 250th birthday celebration, and I did enjoy it. I'm glad I read it, but it was not my favorite by Frances Burney. I much preferred her Evelina, and it was good. Don't get me wrong. It just was, probably a good 30% longer than it needed to be, with a lot of wordy passages that today would have been edited down. And I'm not saying that, we've arrived when it comes to novels and writing literature in today's day and age. But for this modern soul, it was a lot of words to read, and it was a little much for me. And I didn't feel like those extra words really added too much to the story and the overall feel of the book. So my uneducated opinion, but it wasn't my favorite of these books on this list, but I'm glad that I read it. And then The Mysteries of Udolpho, I also read this year for the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birthday, and I did enjoy that one. That one actually I liked better than the other book I had read by Anne Radcliffe, which was I forget. But anyways, Romance of the Forest? Was it Romance of the Forest, I think maybe I read? I think that was the other one that I had read by Anne Radcliffe. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. Mysteries of Udolpho I actually genuinely really enjoyed, and that was a pleasure to read. It was kind of longish, and it did also have a lot of words. But in that case, I just really enjoyed it more. And then The Oedipus Plays, I read. I'm glad I checked it off my list, but it's not anything. I mean, it's important in terms of the context of history and literature, etc. So I am glad I read it. It's worthwhile reading for anyone. But yeah, there's a lot going on in those plays. And then Evangeline by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Yes, I believe. Yes, it's a poem. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Oh, absolutely, 100%. If you even remotely like poetry, or even if you don't, give that one a try. It was a beautiful story, a little bit of a tragic story, be forewarned, but so beautifully told. And the descriptions of nature, oh, those passages, just amazingly gorgeous. And then Pamela by Samuel Richardson. Yes. Wow, that was a book. That was definitely a book, and I'm glad I read it. I could see what he was doing there, and I could appreciate it. And part of me doesn't really understand the draw that it had at the time that it was written. I think I would have had to have lived in that time to really understand that. But, nowadays I look at the books that are popular bestsellers, and I'm a little bit like, really? Okay. There's no accounting for taste. But anyways, it was definitely worthwhile, again, from a context of history and understanding what was happening here in the development of the novel, etc., all of this stuff. So I enjoyed it in that extent, and I didn't hate it. There were some things about it that I did not like, but there were also some things about it that I did like, and that were intriguing and interesting to me. The story itself was interesting. So anyway, yeah, mixed feelings about them, and all of them very strong. Okay, then we have The Epic of Gilgamesh, which was very interesting and fascinating to me. That was a short read, and it was an easy read. And again, it was like contextual, like gives you, it's all part of the history of the world and the history of writing and the development of story and novel. I am interested in ancient historic things, but it takes a lot for me to actually dig into it. But when I do, I usually am very glad that I did, and that's the case with that one. And so, yeah, that is the last one of the books that I have read. So by and large, most of them were really wonderful reading experiences and books that I would highly recommend to other people to read. So I'm going to very quickly go through the books that I have left on the list and just give a quick note about when I might want to read it. If I will tackle it in 2026, let's focus there. Like if I think I might tackle it in 2026 or not, and why I want to read it, and what might be holding me back from reading it. So to start with, War and Peace. And that one, to be honest, the size is daunting, the length of it. I did love Anna Karenina. Anna Karenina is also pretty lengthy, and I've read it multiple times and really enjoyed it. So I don't know. I think part of the problem is I'm not really big into war and war stories. So that also is holding me back a little bit. But I do want to read War and Peace. I don't have definite plans this coming year to read it, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. My son is reading that in his junior year of high school right now. and he is really loving it. It's actually reawakening his interest in reading, I think. And he has been telling me a little bit about it, and he said it's the favorite book that he's read in school so far, and he's read a lot of really amazing books. So that's saying a lot. So I do want to read the books that he is reading in high school, at least most of them. And it's kind of like a vague goal that I have, and like another personal project of mine. So I do want to read it sooner rather than later. So I might get to that this year as well. Kristen Lavransdatter, I do want to read, and some friends and I have made, vague plans to buddy read it together when we get to it, but don't have anything specific at the moment planned out. The Pickwick Papers, I do want to read. Actually, I have multiple Dickens here that I haven't read yet because I want to read him to zero. The Pickwick Papers, The Old Curiosity Shop, A Tale of Two Cities, Martin Chuzzlewit, and Our Mutual Friend. Those are the novels by him that I've not read yet. I'm currently reading A Tale of Two Cities and really enjoying it. As for the others, I need to read at least one a year. So A Tale of Two Cities, technically I started in 25, so I need to start one of the others of those in 26. I'm leaning towards The Old Curiosity Shop or possibly Our Mutual Friend. Then I have several Shakespeare I want to get to. Hamlet, Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, and Julius Caesar. Again, I need to read about one a year. I read Othello this year. So which one will I get to this year? I don't know. I have Macbeth and I think Hamlet, but I definitely have Macbeth on my shelf, so I can read that one for sure. So I might go with that one. Then I have East of Eden by John Steinbeck and As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner, I believe. And those, more modern American literature leaves me feeling cold. Like, I don't know. I just don't love it. But I've heard really good things about East of Eden in particular, and I may actually enjoy that one. But also, I believe that's a big enough chunker. So, gotta keep that in mind. Dr. Thorne is high on my list. I have not read any Anthony Trollope yet, which is ridiculous. I don't know why. I think I will really like his writing, but I just haven't yet. And every year I say I'm going to read a book by him, and every year I don't. I don't know why. I just haven't yet. But Dr. Thorne, I watched a BBC miniseries and really loved it. So that is high on my list of Anthony Trollope that I want to try. Lady Audley's Secret. I have a copy of it on my shelf. So this year, maybe I will get to it. O Pioneers and My Antonia by Willa Cather are both on my list, and I have copies of at least O Pioneers. I don't know if I have My Antonia, but I definitely, for my Prairie Show readathon this summer, if I haven't gotten to it before then, I will read one of them at that point. Flowers for Algernon, I also have on my shelf, and I do want to read that one. I am considering reading it for Epistolary January, possibly, if I have time. Everything That Rises Must Converge by Flannery O'Connor. I'm definitely interested in reading that, but again, contemporary American classics. I say contemporary, but like they're classic literature, but more recent than, like 1800s or something. Again, that's not my favorite era, but I do want to read that one. And then Seagull by Anton Chekhov, actually a collection of short stories by him. I've read some short stories. I want to read more. The Yellow Wallpaper, I believe, is another short story. I do want to read that one as well, and that's short. So I've been wanting to read it for a long time. I just need to actually read it. The Hobbit. I haven't read it. Also, fantasy isn't my thing, so I don't particularly want to read it, except that it's like a classic everybody needs to read. My kids have loved it, so I need to read it. Waverley by Sir Walter Scott. I'm very interested in reading, actually, all of Sir Walter Scott's books at some point. I've only read one, though, and it was many years ago. So I need to get back into him and start reading more by him. I have some nonfiction as well. How to Read a Book. I forget the name of the author. I have it on my shelf. I started reading it many years ago. I do want to finish it. A Woman of No Importance, which is about a spy during World War II, I think. And I have it on my shelf. Want to read it? Haven't yet. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, same story. The Body Keeps the Score, same story. The Madness of Crowds, I do have that also. All of these are nonfiction that I need to read. So I want to get to them. And 2, 3, there's 5 right there. I need to read at least one a year. Then I have some Christian nonfiction, The Practice of the Presence of God, which is actually on my January TBR. So that will happen. The Hour That Changes the World is another Christian nonfiction about prayer. The Complete Works of E.M. Bounds. Now, I have read one of the books in that. There's 8 to 10 books or more in that bind up. And I've read now at least 2 of them. I don't necessarily need to read the entire book in order to cross that off, but just a significant chunk of it. The Calvary Road by Roy Hession, I think, is a short book. And I do want to read it, just haven't yet. The Normal Christian Life, also Christian nonfiction. I would like to read that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Christian nonfiction. So I need to read at least 1 a year in order to finish those on time. So I need to get, well, definitely I'll get to the Practice of the Presence of God this year. Possibly one of the others, we'll see. Mythology is also on my January TBR. Actually, no, a different Greek myth book is on my January TBR. So I will get to that one eventually, just not right now, probably not this year. Then The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, very interested in reading that one. I don't think I have that though. A Brave New World, I do have that by Aldous Huxley, and I do want to read it, but I haven't yet. Gilead by Marilynne Robinson has been on my TBR so many times, and I haven't read it. I just need to. Ditto with Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger, and The Book Thief by Martin Susak, I believe. They're just on my shelf. I'm interested in reading them, and I just haven't yet, so I kind of put them on my bucket list to sort of make me read them, and I will. Definitely will by the time I turn 50, but will it happen this year? Gilead, I have made loose plans to read it with some other people. So I might get to that this year, actually. The others, who knows? So that is where things stand with my 50 by 50. I have to say I'm actually pleased with my progress. I feel like I'm on track. I feel like I don't have too many large and or daunting books ahead of me. I think that the fact that I have enjoyed so far the books that I've read, it gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the books on this list, that they will also be enjoyable and I will love them. So I am looking forward to finishing up this list actually and making significant progress in 2026. So let me know in the comments if there are any of those books that I mentioned that you think that I should prioritize, that you've really enjoyed and you think I would like, or vice versa, if you didn't love them so much and you think maybe I should, bump them down in priority. Although I don't want to save the worst ones for the end because that would be bad. Anyway, just let's chat in the comments about these books and which of these books you haven't read that you would like to read. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's see, I have to switch gears a little bit because what I originally planned for tomorrow, I'm going to push further. So I think tomorrow I am going to go over my journal, my reading journal, and update on everything from 2025, but also show what I've got for January 2026 in my journal. So that will be my video tomorrow. So come back tomorrow if you want to take a little peek at my reading journal, and I will see you next time.